So bored. I want to do something fun. Something like something big, big game. I could arrange some sort of like big mega battle. That'd be all right. Yeah, I think it's time for a mega battle. Huh? Yeah, Matt, David, Alex. It's time for a mega battle. Oh, this is just Matt. All right, phone the other guys. Mega battle time. All right, guys, here we go. I love these big games. I know you guys love these big games. And to be honest, I'm not even the guy that really set this up. There was the other guys like, you know what, let's just get this big game together. They actually did another large one last week. They had their own experience. And then for those who couldn't make that one, like myself, we ran it here as well. I was actually running a tournament at the time, a 40K tournament, a charity one for my brother. But, well, not my brother. For him, he's going to the Ride to Cure Cancer. This is Borgnine, and you have to raise like $2,500 through this thing. So I'm doing this charity tournament to try and raise some money for him. But at the same time, I mean, like, while I'm sitting around and just doing matchups, why don't we just do a big game at the same time? So I set it all up, had the tables there as well, and when we were asking around to see what armies people had, I want to bring my orcs. One guy's going to be bringing dwarves. Another guy's going to be bringing wood elves. My lord, we didn't say wood elves on the list. Yes, wait a second. And there's also going to be this other guy that's going to be warriors of chaos. So I thought, okay, good versus evil. You're going to have the orcs and the warriors of chaos going up against the dwarves and the wood elves. Now, normally I like having these big games, zones all over the place, because it forced you just to get out there and actually do things. The problem is that this isn't very fair for dwarves or wood elves, because dwarves aren't very fast to go across the board, and wood elves, even though they're fast, they don't have the staying power. So they're not really good at this type of thing. So I said, hey, let's set this up as like an attacker versus defender thing. So you have the attacker, the evil orcs and the warriors of chaos, and they're charging in against the dwarves and the wood elves. So actually, instead of zones all over the place, some in the middle, some in each side's deployment zone, let's put them all over on the deployment side of the defenders, the good guys. And of course, we're going to be going for a double table. So 4 across like normal, but 12 the other way, the width ways. And what's going to be is in the very center, they're going to have a 12-inch diameter circle in the middle of their deployment, and then 2 inches from either side. And at the end of the game, whoever controls the most of them wins. And to control them, you have to have a unit in there and have no enemy unit in there. So really, they get to be defensive. They're over there. They're doing their thing. We're attacking, and it all kind of makes sense. I kind of played it out in my mind, and I thought that, okay, probably attackers should have first turn, because when the wood elves get first turn, they're going to go up and block and redirect with all this fast cap. We might not even get over there in the 6 turns, right? It might take us 4 turns to get even close. Then the dwarves tie you up, and that's really the game. So I thought the first attack or turn should go to the attackers, the bad guys. Now, the problem is that when we first got there, one of our guys, the wood elf guy, didn't show up. He had an emergency come up, so there you go. So luckily, though, we did have a spare person who brought, wouldn't you know it, an extra, like, hey, I have all my high elves in the car, I'll play. So there he is. He jumps in. So now it's going to be my orcs and some warriors of chaos up against the dwarves and the high elves. And it should be a crazy match. Just like I said there, I really did want to bring a crazy, big, special character. I was thinking about Gorbad or maybe Anzag or something like that. But the problem is we're talking cannons here and lots of shooting. And let's face it, they're not going to survive. I did take Grimgore though, so there's some killy goodness. But really, in the end of the day, in these big mega battles, it's all about the fun. You know, it really doesn't matter who wins, who loses. There's so much going on that you're always going to have some crazy things. You're like, wow, this was awesome, this was awesome, this was awesome. Doesn't matter if it was a slaughter one way or the other. These moments are still going to happen because there's just so much going on. So there you go, and I hope you enjoy the battle. Alright, looking at their side from left to right, they have a couple of eagles, a big group there of the white lions, and in there they have Caradrian or whatever, a mage. There's some sword masters ready to flank, a lion chariot, and then a big phoenix guard thing with a BSB and Everqueen. In the center here, more sword masters, some thunderers, organ gun, and then a big block here of dwarf warriors with a character. I think this is a dwarf lord, but yeah, just a little kind of a solid center, but will be enough. And then here on this side, here's the gun hill, right? He has 2 grudge throwers, he has 3 cannons, the anvil's back here, another organ gun, a bolt thrower, a bunch of archers, and here are the hammerers with the dwarf lord general as well. On the right side here, we got a big sea guard thing with a bunch of characters in there, more archers, more thunderers, more sword masters, and of course there's been these slayers all the way across, and then these reavers with a character in there too, plus some more dwarves on the far right. From my side, from right to left, there is the wolf riders, the savage orc archers, then there's the chaos knights, the dogs, my savage orc biggins, and of course in the knights there's actually a lord in there as well, so nice and tough. Then for the center, there is some skull crushers with the general. My orc archers are in the building. A big block of orcs, and there's my battle axe Lassois. There's our 2 hell cannons for our shooting, and the good old troll horde is there ready to do some business. Then there is Grimgore and the Black Orc Immortals, the Night Goblins and BSB behind, the 810-point River Troll Horde, and then his blocks of warriors and dogs and Festus and all that fun good stuff there. And then finally, left flank, we have my last of my wolves, his demon prince, 2 chimeras, my other big block of orcs, and there's my sort of bloodshed war boss, and then a whole bunch of chariots and the dragon ogres. Can't wait to charge in all those chariots at once. And so overall, looking at the left side, the crazy thing is that they didn't defend the left zone at all. They do have some miners that could come in, but for the most part, it looks like they just gave up on this one, and they're just putting all their chips in for going for the other 2 zones. So dangerous, but it could pay off. Otherwise, on the right side, obviously that means this is where all the stuff's going to happen. So mainly my big blocks there are the Black Orcs and Trolls for the center zone, and then all the rest of the mess of the monsters and stuff going after the right zone there. So first turn, we charged in a couple of chariots here into his reavers with mage. The Nurgle chariot failed, but hey, of course my good old boar chariot made it, and hopefully I can kill off this mage that's in there as well. That'd be awesome. And then otherwise here, the way things end up the left flank, I mean, I got some animosity issues, but otherwise everything's just trying to move up, because even though they can't really do anything here for the left zone, at least they can hopefully distract the high elf units up there, like the big white lions. And they are on the right flank. We're just going for it, right? Everything is moving on up. If our Demon Prince dies like we expect, so be it. But if not, we're going to be just destroying that gunline hill. So, chips in. We'll see what happens. But yeah, he has such bad luck. The dwarf player with his 7 war machines, 5 of them missed fire. In the end, only 1 wound is done to the Demon Prince. So, really bad luck here. And now they're in some real trouble. Otherwise, over here, I do a wound to them. They have a banner and musician. I break, but hey, I did my job, and we can always counter and clean things up now. So that's not so bad. And at the very least, we killed the mage, right? That's worth the chariot fleeing anyway. So overall here, more on the left, though, you can see that the eagles are trying to go after the hell cannons. The river trolls have lost a couple of guys too, but hey, it's bound to happen with all the shooting and magic they have. But with that part, yeah, their magic didn't really do too much anyway. Here on the right side, you can see that I had some orcs shot off, but yeah, pretty much it was just his war machines crap in the bed, and then, yeah, I mean, those Sea Guard, even though there's hard cover from shooting through the Thunderers, when you boost up that ballistic skill, they're still deadly. So our turn 2, we got the Wolves charging into the 1, just trying to hold it up, and then the River Trolls going into the other organ gun, and that's not to hold it up, that's to destroy it and overrun to the Thunderers, destroy them as well. So this should be pretty good and decisive, get into their grill. And then, man, look at this. We got monsters all over them. So they're all set up to hit one thing and overrun. Same thing with the wolves into the bolt thrower. And this is just going to take out almost all of their heavy shooting in one foul swoop. So this was a critical moment for us. Otherwise, you got the Orcs and the Nurgle Chariot here going into the Reavers. You know, this is just going to be an auto win, but it's something we need to clear out of the way. And then his combat units on the right, I mean, hopefully they won't be in a position to flank us after. The Hell Cannon goes crazy, goes after an eagle and kills it. So, hey, you're coming after our Hell Cannons anyway, so here you go. And, yeah, these eagles are also, like, pimped out with both the upgrades. So, it's, yeah, they're not cheap. So otherwise, the wolves kind of kill one guy, and then they're stubborn, so they hold. And as you would expect, the river trolls kill the one thing, the other organ gun, and they go into the thunderers. Not to be an easy win as well, really. Here in the center, like you'd expect, we just go in and completely destroy all these war machines. One mistake my partner did make is that he overran the Chimera into the anvil as well. And of course, because of the challenge, that means we won't get to do anything. But hey, at least it'll stay alive till later. And then here on the right side, of course, we beat the Reavers. Everything else is kind of moving up. He might be able to flank and do some stuff with the Nurgle Chariot, but if it actually comes to that, we'll just flee. And then we have all the other chariots there ready to counter anyway. So feeling really good about this side. So otherwise here, this is an overview for the middle, a little bit of a blurry picture. But yeah, I mean, my trolls and the black orcs are there, ready to put on all the pressure, and the skull crushers are there too. So once you start dedicating these big blocks, stuff is going to die. And here on the right side, I mean, the warriors are starting to move their way up. The monsters are doing their thing. And yeah, I mean, on this side, it seems like it's not too much, but I mean, with their magic, they can beef stuff up big time. So you never know which way things can swing. On his turn here, the chariot goes into mine. If I was a flea, I was just going to go off the table anyway, so I might as well hold there. And it's also, I mean, I'm toughness 5. He's needing 4s to wound me even with his impact hits, so he could fluff it, and hey, I believe in myself. And then over here, I mean, what's going on with this Slayer? He charges into the rear here. We'll have our tail attacks. We're getting +1 to hit. But hey, you know, you never know. This little Slayer might have a few tricks up its sleeve. And hint, hint, it might. Over here, the Eagle goes into the Hell Cannon. Really, this is a suicidal mission, but that's kind of the point. They just don't want the Hell Cannon to be shooting for a turn or two, and also just because, if I forget to mention it, the Eagle actually does that. It survives for a turn or two, so mission accomplished. Otherwise, over here, the Reaver Bow is taking a wound off one of the Skull Crushers, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, this is great. I mean, now the White Lions are not dealing with the side they'd want to, or that other Sword Masters, and really, it'll be interesting how this combat goes down. So, on their turn there, it's kind of funny. The Miners came on, I kill the Thunderers, and then overrun into the Miners. So they're seeing combat already. They might have been able to figure something out where they could have gotten to my flank with some crazy charges, but they're going more defensive right now. And here on the right side, wow. I mean, the big thing that happened here is that even though he beat the hell out of my chariot, I need like a 3 to hold, and I got it. So that was so lucky. And, yeah, that was just such a massive thing to happen here. Now we can big-time countercharge. Otherwise, yeah, look at this, a dead Chimera. So this Slayer comes in with boosted initiative, has the Master Rune of Smiting, lands a wound, and then boom, rolls out D6 and kills a Chimera. So, you know, this guy's a hero of the game and a very fluffy thing too. So overall, for the left side here, you can see that still, I mean, we're just positioning these big blocks to get to the big fight going on. The warriors are all there. I mean, just really is just kind of like the calm before the storm is what I really see this moment as. Here on the right flank, almost the same thing here too. We're just about to get all these charges in, and then after, this is the hope, is that after the chariots do their thing, then the Dragon Ogres might be able to clean up. But if nothing else, we just need to get into that zone and contest it. So over here, my opponent decided to charge in the Skull Crushers into the Hammerers. Or not the Hammerers, the White Lions. Now, I'm deathly afraid of White Lions, so I thought it was a mistake. He thought that he was going to be just fine, especially with the Corn Lord, so we'll have to see which way this goes. Otherwise, I tried charging in with Grimgore and his Immortals, and once you know it, I rolled like a 3 and failed to charge. So I really wanted to get in there so that we were really pinching him in from both sides, but hey, sometimes you get low dice, and I guess Grimgore will have to wait a little bit. Otherwise, over here, we do the big chariot charges, but it's not all that we planned. I mean, originally we wanted everything to go into the dwarves, but it's just we needed to kill off this other stuff first. One of them crashed into a tree and died, and we're going to be hitting these thunderers and overrun into the sea guard, hopefully. Over here, both warrior blocks wanted to charge in. Unfortunately, the Nurgle ones failed, but hey, the thing is here is with dwarves are tough, warriors are tougher. So overall, I mean, it's also 2 blocks to 1 once we kill off this other small unit. Over here, we get off our only spell of the game, which does like this little fire thing over here to his Sea Guard, kills like 3 and scatters off and hits nothing else. But hey, I mean, this is our one gleaming moment for our magic phase. So that's awesome. Otherwise, over here, Caradrian, whatever name, does a challenge with the Corn Lord. We get really lucky where he does no wounds to us. We kill him. He only does 2 wounds back with exploding, and then we get the turning into a Demon Prince and fail. So I guess we just didn't really deserve it. Otherwise, you can see over here that, yeah, the pressure is still going on. Really amazed with those Skull Crushers here going against the White Lions. We've lost 1, but otherwise, look how fast those White Lions are dying, right? Like, they're just falling to pieces. And then otherwise over here, obviously the miners are dead. I went off the board. This Rune Lord is freaking tough. He's just not going down. Otherwise, the warriors cleaned up the archers like you would expect, and just waiting to go and try and fight this other unit here, which the dogs are blocking them. Over here, we kill off the sword masters. We kill off the chariot, go off the board, beat the Thunderers, overrun into the Sea Guard. So if nothing else, I mean, I really think we could beat the Sea Guard, but if nothing else, we're contesting that zone. So I'm loving the way this is looking. On his side, lots of charges here, so Sword Masters into the flank of the Skull Crushers. This could be really scary. And then otherwise, we got the Lion Chariot, the Phoenix Guard, and the more Sword Masters to my Trolls, and the Phoenix Guard had a Flaming Banner. Over here, Archers go into the flank of the Warriors, and I mean, they're probably going to get brutalized, but in cases like this, you might as well try it, right? I mean, you never know, and the dice will go your way, and if nothing else, they might hold them up here for a turn. Over here, there's a challenge between my War Boss and Corhill, and I just plaster the guy. But the big thing here is that this was really lucky, because I even forgot he was over here. So they would have been stubborn, but now this took the stubborn away. So that was big. Otherwise, there's a challenge here between the Slayer and Festus, and yeah, Festus just gets destroyed. So these Slayers are not doing too bad, right? They're just going in there and killing off, chimeras and named characters like they're nothing. I mean, sure, Festus is weak, but still. Overall, over here, man, look at this. I couldn't believe it. My Trolls, it's just so many attacks, right? And I killed almost all the Sword Masters. Last one breaks. Lion Chariot breaks. I reformed to make sure I have more ranks later on. And yeah, the Skull Crushers do their thing too and beat off the Sword Masters there. Otherwise, here in the center, still trying to kill that one guy off, so that's still going. Like you expect, the Archers got beaten up and they're running away. And yeah, the Sea Guard rolled like a 4 to hold, so a little bit lucky. Over here, because we know that the game's going our way, we decided to charge in the Dragon Ogres. This is obviously not a smart thing to do, but hey, why not, right? At this point, let's just start doing crazy stuff, throw some dice, and just see what these Dragon Ogres can do. Otherwise, over here, look at those White Lines. They're almost dead. I mean, props to the Skull Crushers. Obviously, way better than I gave them credit for. And White Lines with the rerolls, that's a big deal. He actually beats my Trolls this turn, but I'm steadfast and I hold. And I also defeated his Warriors there with the Mortals. Otherwise, over here, his Dwarves went into the Warriors and kicked their teeth in and broke them. Luckily, we got away, but otherwise, yeah, just Demon Prince still trying to kill that one Rune Lord. Taking forever. Over here, yeah, Dragon Ogres got their, crap kicked in, and now look at those Dwarves. They're ready to join in the main combat. This was not part of the plan. I also had the one chariot that came in this turn. He just got scared right back off the table. So this isn't going well. And yeah, look at this. I mean, here he comes. He's going to kill the chariot. Hopefully I can do enough wounds to the unit. But yeah, this is now not going very well. We're probably going to be losing this zone. So, a little bit of a mistake, but it will be okay overall. Over here, the Dwarves charge and run down the Warriors, but now they're showing the flank to the Nurgle Warriors, which was bad, but then the Grudge Thorers started cranking the hits on and killed like half of them. So all of a sudden, it's not so bad anymore. Over here, finally, all the White Lions are dead. The Phoenix Guard, they're really just down to their last few guys here. And yeah, as you can see, the middle zone is just all Black Orcs and Trolls. So we got this thing locked down tight. Overall here, we finally killed the Rune Lord, so that's fantastic news. In the combat, he doesn't manage to destroy the chariot amazingly, but my Orcs break, my War Boss was killed by the Lore Master, and then he just reforms for ranks. Over here, I just want to finish these guys off. So these Night Goblins are actually charging into the flank of the Phoenix Guard just to get all the combat res. And you can see in the background, there's my War Boss too, just wishing he could have actually swung his axe this game. Over here, of course, the Nurgle Warriors go into the flank of the Hammerers. There's way more Hammerers, but of course, only a few attacks will be happening because they're on the flank, and they will die fast. They do not have good armor, so hopefully we can grind these guys down and kill the Lord, too. Over here, now that we're free from the Rune Lord, the Demon Prince and the Chimera come charging into the Sea Guard, and now this is just fine, because even if we lose this overall, the Demon Prince will be unbreakable, contesting the zone, and that's all that's important. Over here, yeah, Phoenix Guard are broken, remnants of anything else are ran down, and yeah, this is just Orc land. That's what the middle zone is Orc land. So, mission complete, feeling pretty good, Troll Hordes are awesome, and yeah, great. Over here, we kill a bunch of them. There's a challenge between the BSB and his general. It's actually more of a pillow fest right here, but he lost by so much that even though he held because he's stubborn, he could not turn around. So, hey, you know, we could just have another turn of grinding down then. Over here, the chariot's destroyed. The warriors are out of combat, so they reform so they can charge back in again on their turn. And otherwise, yeah, it's just, you know, we used our breath weapon, killed a whole bunch of the Sea Guard, and kicking some butt. Over here, yeah, again, just grinding these guys down. There's still the whiffing going on between the guys. I think they did like a wound to each other now. But yeah, look at those hammers. They're getting ground down fast, so they need to reform in a hurry, but they keep failing. Over here, the Dwarf Warriors charge in, lose combat, because, hey, it's a Demon Prince, and he's thunderstomping and stuff, so he's stubborn on a 9, but of course, you know what happened. He failed and ran away, so much for stubborn dwarves. Over here, just kind of looking at the left zone, yeah, this is just fast cav town. This is where like, hey, yeah, look at this. We actually survived a game. Can you believe it? Yeah, wow, this is amazing. So either way, I mean, this was kind of a given to us anyway. And in the middle zone, we're having some fun too and pulled out all of our lords. I mean, the silly thing is that he still has grudge throwers to shoot at us. We don't care. We're a bunch of honey badgers. We're just, you know, talking about what's better, Orcs or Wars of Chaos. I mean, obviously it's Orcs, but I mean, you got to argue about it, right? Otherwise, over here, yeah, man, those Sea Guard finally get what was coming to them. The Chimera goes and runs them down, and yeah, I mean, the Demon Prince has this thing locked down now. No matter what happens, this thing is just safe. And over here, he finally is able to kill the BSB and reform the face, but, I mean, given even numbers, I would put it on our side here. But hey, it's always fun to have these little side combats. It's, you know, a neat little grind down match. You don't know which way it's going to go. Over here, a Slayer goes into the flank of the Demon Prince. And this is the thing where, I mean, like, oh, this is suicidal. But hey, one already killed the Chimera. So I got to say, I was actually cheering for the Slayer. But no, the Demon Prince won. Pfft, what a meanie. Here in the center, yeah, keep on fighting, keep on killing these Hammerers. But they're stubborn. They're not going anywhere. And, yeah, that Dwarf Lord decides to survive the game, too. I think it was just one wound left, but hey, if nothing else, the Dwarves, you know, still hold the middle of the table. So looking at the board overall, this is what it is at the very end of the game. We hold the left, we hold the center, the right one is contested. So, a victory to the bad guys, and overall, it's just a really fun game, and, you know, tons of dead stuff all over. So there you go, a pretty decisive win for the bad guys. I think the biggest factors that led to this was, for starters, the dwarf army was kind of like forced to be 5,000 points. He actually has a whole bunch of ogres, like 8,000 points of ogres, but he wanted to do dwarves. I mean, dwarves are always nice for these big games because you just take like a small little case, it all fits in there. So it's convenience. But he really was just loading on the special runes instead of actually just taking more bodies. So that was, I think, a big thing that made the army a little bit weaker so that there was just enough bodies to be going and contesting with all the bad guys here. Now, we did talk about the end. Like, do you think it was a mistake to abandon the one on the left side? And they said, you know what? No, they still stuck by it because really, you had elite dwarves, elite high elves. If you space them out across the whole 12 feet, it's just going to be pitiful. And of course, then like we were the bad guys, we were thinking like, hey, we'll just see what ones will be the two easiest, and we'll focus on those two. So if they did spread out, well, they're already kind of like resigning themselves to that fate. So it does make kind of sense. Maybe they had to kind of like position a little bit better. Of course, one thing that we were talking about too is that the way it works is the Demon Prince just jump right in front of them first turn, and then all of a sudden their cannons were in trouble. Two ways it could have gotten out of that is either one, putting combat troops in front, so if you move up here, all right, let's tie you up, whereas archers weren't going to do that. Or two, you could almost do like an open the gates thing. Archers go, they reform, cannons can shoot through, and really, you take the same battle, make it so that the Demon Prince goes down first turn, like he probably should have. Panic's going on with the Chimeras. This is a completely different game. All of a sudden, these war machines are crushing us all over the place. But then again, we had that too, where the dwarf player with his war machines misfiring like crazy. So that's just really the way it was. So either way, a really fun game. We're already talking about doing more of these in the future, and I have talks with Matthew Reeson about doing a massive like 10,000 point game, just one-on-one, my orcs versus his vampires. So that'd be cool. Of course, in different cities, it's quite the feat to pack up all your stuff and take it. But I love these big games, and it's one of these things like painting, right? If you don't paint for a while, it's hard to get back into them. But once you do, it's easy. Now that I've done this big game, I just can't wait for the next big game. So there you go. I hope you loved it. I loved it, and there'll be more stuff later. So thanks for watching. Bye.